Hello and welcome to English II. I'm your online teacher, Miss Bear. We have been looking at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from Birmingham Jail, and today we are on lesson 16 and we are going to be looking at paragraph 34. So as a reminder, this is an Engage New York unit, and at the end of the unit we will be writing an extended essay based on the letter from Birmingham Jail, answering the prompt. Analyze how King develops and refines his claims to advance his purpose. And as you know, we have been working on all of these graphic organizers that are leading us to being able to effectively write this essay. And so at the end of the unit, which is lesson 20, you will be relying on all of the notes that you have. So you should have a binder in front of you with the letter from Birmingham Jail that you've been annotating, along with all of the tools that at your disposal that you've been given. So remember, you have, and I'm going to refer to the screen behind, or to the board behind me, you should have some central ideas tracking tools, you should have some rhetorical impact tracking tools, and you should also have some argument delineation tools, right? We have been working with those throughout this unit so that you are prepared for the end of the unit task. So let's look at our agenda for today. We're going over the lesson agenda. We will be accountable for our homework. We will do a masterful reading. We will do some reading and discussion. We will do a quick write. And then at the end of the day, we will close out with a little bit of homework. You can also see the standards on your board that we will be addressing today, along with the text that we're working with. So you should have all of these things out and prepared for your day. So let's dig right in and let's start with our homework accountability. So as you know, we typically will work with a partner here. So I want you to turn and talk and discuss your summaries from paragraphs 10 through 33, comparing which aspects you chose to emphasize. Great job. Some of your summaries were incredible. And I want you to remember that some people are able to condense a lot of words into a shorter summary, and some people need a few more words for theirs, and that's okay. Length is not that big of a deal unless you start getting into all of the details that aren't necessary for a summary. So remember that an objective summary should tell the basics of whatever area that you're working with. And again, you should always rely on the tools that you've been given in order to be able to be effective with that. So let's move straight into our masterful reading of paragraph 34. And this is a fairly short paragraph, about 2 minutes. So I want you to remember to have your text in front of you and a pencil or a piece of paper so that you can annotate as you listen. Great job. Okay, now let's look at some questions that go along with this particular paragraph. So what is King's purpose in paragraph 34? So his purpose is to claim that the definite success of the civil rights movement, right? His purpose is also to establish the justice of his cause. And his purpose is also to develop the idea of African American history as linked to and echoing that of America itself. All right, now we're going to work with a partner or a small group. Again, this is at the discretion of the teacher who is in your classroom to decide whether you work with a partner or a small group, and you're going to answer the questions on your screen. Great job. Before we move too much further along, I want you to pull out your rhetorical impact tracking tool, and I want you to track the rhetoric from paragraph 34 as you answered the questions from just now. Great job. Now let's review a couple of the responses that I heard your groups or your partners talking about for paragraph 34. So in paragraph 34, how does King shift the tone in the letter? So in the paragraph, King shifts from criticism of white moderates in the white church to his hope for the future. While in earlier paragraphs he stated that he has been disappointed and referred to blasted hopes and shattered dreams, he now opens the paragraph with "I hope" and claims that we will win our freedom. What is the rhetorical impact of this shift in tone? Throughout this shift, King emphasizes the timeliness and inevitability of progress and the success of his cause. Previously, King has been justifying his actions and asking for the support of his addressees. In the second sentence of paragraph 34, however, he claims that his cause will be successful even without their support. By shifting the tone of King's letter, the paragraph undermines the position and authority of the clergyman to whom King is responding. King shows in this paragraph that neither he nor his movement need their approval, developing his claim in paragraph 33 that the church risks becoming irrelevant. What is the impact of King's choice to place the paragraph here? So by placing the paragraph immediately after a critique of the church, King offers a closing argument to that critique. King also places the paragraph after a long analysis in which he refutes the criticism of the civil rights movement and critiques white response to it. This placement strengthens King's claim that the success of the civil rights movement is both inevitable and just through the contrast in his tone. Okay, so I want you now, if you have not already had an opportunity to think about all of that rhetoric, we're going to move into our quick write, but before we do, I'm going to go back one slide, and I want you to update your rhetorical impact tracking tool. Fantastic job. I'm glad that you had an opportunity because I know some of you were struggling with that rhetoric, and I want you to know that just because I'm only discussing a few of the questions on that list of questions that we had, it's still important that you find somebody in your classroom that you can compare notes with, because the more information that you have on this rhetorical impact tracking tool, the easier it's going to be for you to write your essay at the end. And it's going to help prepare you for not only this essay, but for all of the essays in the future. Like I've always told you, more than one brain is obviously better. The more brains that you can have in your circle, the more information that you're going to have that you're going to be able to put into your own. So let's move forward and let's look at our quick write, because I think you're going to find the answers to these questions and the things that we have put in our rhetorical impact tracking tool are going to help you with this quick write. So how do King's use of rhetoric and placement of this paragraph advance his purpose? Fantastic job. I can't wait to read. You have all of the answers. That quick write should have been super easy and super quick too, right? Because a quick write is that. It's just getting your thoughts out on paper. All right? Make sure that you have put that paper in your binder and that you keep up with these things. It is very, very important. All right? So let's move on to our homework for this evening. So it's a little bit more than what you're probably accustomed to, but that's okay. You can do it. I want you to read and annotate paragraphs 35 through 39. Use your annotation codes. The codes are on the board. You have been given these since the beginning of this unit, but make sure that if you have not written them down by now, that you use this time to write down those annotation codes. Great job. Until next time, happy learning.